The 80s and 90s were great times to be a kid. Join me as I dive into the world of movies, music, video games and toys, and explore what made these decades so great. This is the Big Retro Show. What's up, you guys? This is Los, and this is Retro Roots. Today on Retro Roots, we're talking about the remake of the 1988 classic horror film, Child's Play. I just got done watching this movie in the movie theater and thought I'd run home and make this video while these thoughts are still fresh in my mind. The movie has a few issues. So one of the big problems that I had with Child's Play, which was released last week in theaters everywhere, is that the doll is really ugly. I mean, what kid do you know would want to play with this doll right here? It is extremely ugly. I mean, take a look at the 1988 version and you tell me, which doll would you rather play with? I don't know, maybe they were trying to make a doll that was scarier, but this is just sad. It looks like an old middle-aged guy in a doll form. I mean, who would want to play with that? The voice that this doll has in the new Chucky is also just cringy. It sounds like a perverted Elmer Fudd, and if you can imagine that, it's pretty awful. It's pretty bad. The other thing about the movie is that the way that the doll became evil was so high-tech, so now. In this edition, we let high-tech take over, and instead of a killer's soul being imbued into the Chucky doll, it was a computer chip that was programmed to make Chucky evil. And I just think that is, yes, a sign of the times. Another thing, it's just straight blasphemy, guys. I mean, what is more scarier than a killer's soul imbued in a Chucky doll? It's like, okay, if I have a computer that's acting bad, and believe me, my computer, my Mac, the one that I'm editing this on right now, acts bad all the dang time. But does that make it evil? Probably not. Although I think it's evil sometimes. I just think that they could have done a better job of making this doll actually scary. I mean, the only thing that was scary pretty much about this doll was that cringy voice of it and that it looked like a pervy old man. So that was an issue for me. The origin story did not pay any attention to the mythos of the Child's Play movies, and I thought that was lame. I really did. Another issue with the movie is just that it just wasn't scary at all. I mean, it's a bad sign when people in the audience are just laughing like throughout the whole thing. And don't get me wrong, I like laughter. The Freddy Krueger movies, those were funny and scary at the same time. But here in this movie, aside from the cheap jump scares, there was nothing really sinister or scary about this at all. It was kind of like almost a joke, like a big campy cringy joke that everyone was laughing at, and I didn't appreciate that. I thought that the original Child's Play, of course I was younger back then, did a much better job of scaring you. Another thing about this movie is that it was just non-believable. And yes, I know, it's a Child's Play movie. I'm talking about the character Andy. The character looked like he was about 12 years old, and trust me guys, I don't know of any 12-year-old that's running around playing with a Chucky doll. I don't care how cool and ugly and disgusting the doll is, but I mean, this is just like a bad version of Teddy Ruxpin or something. It was non-believable. And you know, in the movie kind of glossed over when the mom gave Andy the doll. He was just kind of like bummed because it was a doll. And then all of a sudden he gets connected to it and he starts to like the doll. The doll becomes the kid's best friend. I mean, come on, guys. Everyone knows that the internet is the best friend of a 12-year-old, okay? That's just it. So those were my issues with the movie. You guys might have seen the movie yourselves and you guys might have liked it. Obviously, you don't share my opinion because I thought that the movie sucked. Save your money. Do not go and watch this movie. Instead, watch the 1988 version and then you can have your Child's Play fix, because this movie was garbage. And that's gonna do it for Retro Roots, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope that I saved you some money. And if I do, please mention it in the comments. Until the next one, this is Los from the Big Retro Show.